Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, February 27th of 2025. I'm Gio Benecourt, and this is a recording about 15 minutes prior to the USA Open by Vantage Markets. All right, well, there were always going to be two big forces having an impact on markets this week. Chipmaker Nvidia's earnings yesterday that blew expectations. Then the PCE, which comes out tomorrow, and that's the Fed's preferred inflation measure. But it was a third unscheduled force that unsettled traders yesterday. Fresh comments from President Trump about imposing tariffs on imports from Europe. The market shuddered when they hit, suggesting traders aren't ignoring the threat that the taxes could fan inflation and hurt growth. But stocks also didn't dive, which hints that given Trump's record so far, few people expect the impact of the levies to be that severe. So with that being said, let's take a look at what we could speculate for today's market fluctuation. Yesterday we saw obviously that the markets did had a pretty volatile session, not that wide of a range, but indeed had that fluctuation to the downside and to the upside, and then to the downside closing. However, in the green today, we did open with a gap down. It has been closed, rebounding off the lower Bollinger Band into moving into yesterday's swing high, which is where I have that resistance level. So let's see if today, as the market opens in 15 minutes, that movement, that momentum to the upside will continue to drive the index higher or revisit previous higher highs. As far as the S&P 500, well, same token as the Nasdaq market right now is rebounding off the 50-day moving average, and that's also where I have that level of support. So let's see if, and it also did open with a small gap down. Let's see if today we continue with this momentum to the upside as the market opens in 15 minutes or so. Then the Dow did open also with a gap down. It has been closed, rebounding off the lower Bollinger Band as well. So let's see if today this movement to the upside will continue. Crude oil is the one that is recovering after yesterday's just very tight spread. There wasn't that much of fluctuation, and today the market has taken in that inventory report from yesterday. So that could mean that we have perhaps found a bottom around 68.30. Well, let's keep $70 as our possible first level of resistance. It is a psychological value, and the second one will be, let's use just Tuesday's swing high as our second probable level of resistance for crude oil. I'm gonna leave the same levels that we had yesterday, since they haven't really been violated nor really broken. So momentum to the upside, going with the trend. The trend is your friend. Buying. Nat Gas, however, has given a scenario of perhaps just retracing that movement that we have seen so far. So let's see if $4 today will be that support for it. Now, gold is the one that has really made a movement to the downside after speculation speculation that it will make another attempt to trade higher, but it didn't. So I'm going to use a 10-cent differential in the support levels that we are having here. So let's see if the 20-day moving average, which basically the market did dive across it and now is looking to trade above it, would that give it enough support for the market to retrace this movement? Well, let's see if that will be today or not, or will trade towards 2,800. Now, silver, it opened gap up, it has been closed. So I'm going to speculate, since we are within obviously also Tuesday's trading range, $32 is going to be psychological resistance level for silver. Then copper, well, copper it opened gap up yesterday, but then it did close that and it just tanked. So right now the market is fluctuating below the 20-day moving average, which is basically where it had that level of support yesterday. So 440 is going to be one of those levels. I'm going to bring down my resistance to yesterday's swing high, and then let's just use the upper Bollinger Band. I'm going to speculate that today will be within yesterday's range. So a recovery towards yesterday's swing high is my speculation. Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin tanked, so it basically broke our first level of support and it continued lower yesterday. So I'm going to use yesterday's swing low and 80,000 as my second level, around that level. Let's see if that will be the case. 90,000 is going to be our first level of resistance, 90 plus, and that 50-day moving average for the Bitcoin. I'm going to speculate this is going to be sideways trading today, consolidation. Then we have the currencies tanking. 20-day moving average is giving us that support perhaps. Let's see if 104 psychological value will give it enough support for the asset to stay where around that level. So the dollar index obviously is going to be saying a lot about that. Then we have the pound that is getting pounded away as well. I want to see loads. Okay, here we go. Then we have the pound that yesterday did fluctuate above our both level of resistance, but quickly retraced, and closed below it. So I'm basically going to leave the same levels. We did fluctuate to the upside today, but now we are in a downtrend so far. So let's see if the 50-day moving average will help us in finding that support, finding those buyers to bring the asset trading higher today. But if the dollar index happens to opening up above the 50-day moving average, so this is a pretty significant move. Let's see if it'll sustain itself below the 107 handle as where it's at today, or will it make another attempt at trading above 107. If that is the case, then we'll continue to see more pressure, obviously on the metals and obviously on the currencies. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow.